we consider performance enablement to really be the best approach to performance management. It's all about creating the infrastructure to support each team member as a whole person, and to support the performance potential of employees and help them develop and progress toward their career goals. Thanks to everyone who's here for joining this session with HR Congress today. I am very excited to talk to you about really successfully navigating the journey to better performance enablement and how in 6 key steps you can go about redefining performance management, that wicked problem that Alan just described, to better engage your employees, to develop your top talent, to reduce employee churn, and to drive better business results. So there's a lot of blah, blah about me on this slide, but let me just summarize it by saying that I have been around a while. I have had the opportunity to do some pretty amazing things, and it's really all because I've been surrounded by some pretty incredible people, all of whom, regardless of my experience with them, I am grateful for in one way or another. And the reason that I love what I get to do every day is because I get to see how enabling and empowering people through the work that they do and the technology that they use every day truly makes a difference in the world. And for those of you who may not be familiar with BetterWorks, we've been around for about 9 years. We were founded in 2013, and we develop a best-in-class performance management solution that enables exceptional results and puts employee experience at the heart of how companies align, motivate, and develop their people. And unlike the, kind of archaic monolithics and legacy HR technology that, many of us are familiar with, our lightweight and enterprise-ready SaaS solution that's used for check-ins, for feedback, for goals, for employee engagement and recognition are built to scale for businesses of all sizes. And we are backed with investments from the world-renowned Kleiner Perkins and Emergence Capital. And it really is an honor to be here with you today. So before we get into this statistic, I just want to get real for a second. I don't think it would be an understatement to say that the way we work has changed dramatically. It's true that companies and employees have always had an expectation to perform. I mean, that's what running a business is all about. But when the world went kind of topsy-turvy with the pandemic 2.5 years ago, we all had to literally overnight figure out how to keep our people engaged, how to keep them aligned, and how to keep our companies moving forward. And what we learned very quickly is that employees want to be valued for more than just the work that they do. They want to be seen as people first and foremost. And some recent Gartner research proves it, as you can see here. In their 2021, they call it the EVP benchmarking survey, and EVP stands for Employee Value Proposition. 82% of employees say it's important for their organization to see them as a person, not just an employee. But, and these numbers aren't on here, but in that survey, it also showed that only 45% of employees actually believe that their organization sees them this way. And even worse, only 23% of those employees actually expect to be working in their current organization, as the pandemic ends. So this, to me, really calls for an entirely new way of thinking and leading, and it's really why we believe that performance enablement is so critical. We consider performance enablement to really be the best approach to performance management. It's all about creating the infrastructure to support each team member as a whole person, and to support the performance potential of employees and help them develop and progress toward their career goals. And when these tools and resources, the infrastructure that I just mentioned, when this is in place, managers and their team members or their direct reports, they can co-develop, performance plans that move the individual, that move the team, and move the business forward. And it really is the engine that supports and drives engagement, productivity, and a more positive employee experience. So, I want to get into the 6 key areas that we recommend that you focus on to implement a modern performance enablement system in your company. And, I want to make no mistake with key number 1, realigning around performance enablement and making employees active participants in their own development is a very different way of thinking for many. And it really means a shift from, Ellen mentioned the traditional top-down goal management and one-way communication that is an adjustment for many managers. And it requires a commitment to real change. And, I don't want to pull any punches about successfully implementing a change like this. I mean, implementing a change like this, any kind of real systemic change requires a commitment to really a company-wide process, adoption of that process, and change management. And to make the process of performance management a success, it has to be a broad initiative, and it needs internal champions. It must have an executive sponsorship, and not just sponsorship, but support. HR definitely has a leading role to play in supporting and training and reinforcing the new process, but all organizational leaders have a vital role to play in this. And, as an example, I was speaking with a senior leader in an organization last week who shared with me that they had just completed an executive planning session, and fully half of their 3-day agenda was specifically focused on people and culture. And all executives were actively engaged in this, not just HR, which is very good news for HR leaders. And, above all, you also have to be willing to make the commitment to providing the proper tools and the training that will support you and ensure you and your business continue to evolve successfully. Now, at BetterWorks, a big part of what makes our customers successful is a focus on readiness and change management and adoption. And really, these are the pillars of a commitment to real change. And these 5 tips that you see here, they come from decades of success helping complex global enterprises improve their performance processes. And, I wanted to share them with you all here. Tip number 1 is make sure you're engaging your stakeholders. Your stakeholders should be representatives across your business, and engage them early. Identify who your executive sponsor is and how they intend to support the change efforts and your change efforts. These stakeholders and sponsors, they are a key part of what we like to call your change network of champions as you're implementing your new program and your new tools. I'd also suggest that you tap into advocates of the change, of course, across your organization, high potential leaders, but also it's, I think, really important to tap into a few detractors in your organization who you can actually turn into advocates. One of the things that I heard last week that really resonated with me is that all change begins with something ending. And understanding what's ending for someone and empathizing with that person will help them become an advocate, get them on board sooner, and help you advocate for the change across your organization. So pulling even in some detractors to help you in your change network is key. Tip number 2 is, engaging with your stakeholders, and part of engaging with them includes interviewing them, actually talking with them, getting their feedback, asking them to help identify goals for the program. What does success look like to you? What does success look like to your stakeholders? And what does it look like for your sponsors? And think about that success at various stages of your program. We've all heard it, start with the end in mind, and it's really important that you identify what your success criteria is and how that looks for your organization. Tip number 3, as you think about priming your managers and your employees for change, you want to build out effective, customized and ongoing program communications, as well as a really well-defined role-based training and training that incorporates some of the best practices related to performance enablement. We, through our years of experience, have thousands of templates that we've used with customers through the years, and really an effective communications campaign, and that's how you should think about it, ensures that you're setting appropriate expectations across the organization, clarity on policies, procedures, drives higher engagement, and bottom line, helps you ensure that there are no surprises, which makes all the difference in your efforts. Tip number 4, given that you started with the end in mind, and you quantified and qualified what success looks like, you'll be able to, you want to find ways to showcase your results as you really embed your program into your day-to-day processes and into, like Alan talked about, the flow of work. And this is when performance enablement really becomes real, when it's embedded into things like one-on-ones and check-ins, performance discussions, team meetings, quarterly business reviews that you might run as an organization, company all-hands meetings, incorporating into everything you do as part of your flow of work makes it real. And then the final tip is to use and leverage the data that is a part of the tool that you use to give you actionable insights into your employee engagement, their performance, your potential across the organization. The magic in the change really comes from the data. And by the way, this focus on readiness, on change management and adoption has resulted for us in a customer NPS score of +80, which is beyond world-class when it comes to our successful implementations. That is direct feedback from our customers. And even more impressive, over 90% gross customer retention. So to say that we take this seriously is kind of an understatement. All right, so let's get into the second key, and I spent so much time on the first because it is really important, but the second key to successfully implementing a performance enablement program is to set and be prepared to reset meaningful employee and business goals. And whether you call them goals or priorities or OKRs, it doesn't really matter. The importance is that they should never be a set and forget thing or be a set and forget exercise. And if there's anything that we know for sure, it's, and what we've seen in spades over the last couple of years, is that change is constant. And employees, enabling your employees to really perform at the highest level through an agile goal setting process that allows them to be aligned with larger team and company goals, and giving employees and managers the tools to have regular, meaningful check-ins or conversations about those goals ensures a more engaged, productive, and successful outcome for everyone. And it's through these regular check-ins that employees are able to adjust to changing business needs in a very agile way, and keeps them connected to the most important things and accountable for making them happen. And just to further the point, there's proof that this connection pays off. Amy mentioned at the start of the session that we have a report that we will share with everybody. And in this report, we found that 86% of senior leaders surveyed reported a 5% or greater increase in their employee satisfaction scores when employees felt aligned, that when they felt that their work was aligned to strategic goals and initiatives. And companies who use a clear and accessible goal setting tool ensure that their employees see how their work directly impacts business results and provides for those critical feelings of purpose and mastery and autonomy. And I'll tell you, these tools really paid off for many of our customers in the thick of the pandemic, and continue to do so now, whether they continue in their operations as fully remote or hybrid, or maybe even fully back to office work environment. It's been, really quite amazing. All right, so let's move on to the third key to better performance enablement, and that is in providing real-time feedback. Feedback is all about information delivered as a result of someone's effort, and going back to an employee's need to really be thought of as a whole person. This really addresses the desire to learn and to feel accepted. And Jason Lauritsen, who is a management innovator and a good friend of BetterWorks, I think he said it best, and his quote is here: "One of the most fundamental failures of the performance review process is that it orients us towards only providing feedback, review, critique, or coaching once a year. And the reality is performance happens every single day. It happens every single hour. So we should be having much more frequent conversations." And, feedback is a gift. It's really the foundation to a better employee experience. And study after study has shown that to be effective, employees want and need regular feedback, not just once a year during a traditional review process. And, you don't want to deliver too much feedback because that can overwhelm an employee, but having the right tools and the right structure to help managers find the right balance to give the most useful and actionable feedback really can get you started off on the right foot. Productive and effective feedback should come from a place of trust. It should be empathetic and free from judgment and bias. It should be constructive and really focused on behaviors that a person can change, things that are concrete and specific. Like I said earlier, it should be given in real time, or at the very least, very, very timely. It should not be focused on, some distant past event, and should be motivational and really learning oriented, focusing on fundamentals so that outcomes are improved. And bottom line, managers should be showing employees that they care not only about productivity, but about an employee's well-being, their professional development, and providing employees with the opportunity to talk about their needs and their growth and development and career goals. All right. So the fourth key to better performance enablement is to motivate employees to do outstanding work by providing relevant development opportunities with an eye towards career pathing and employee growth and productivity. In fact, according to Gartner, in the next 2 years, 40% of organizations will deploy a continuous learning technology to better support organizational shifts towards real-time performance, feedback, and coaching. Add to that, a constantly changing work and market and technology and world landscape. These are all things that contribute to the changing needs of employers and employees. And the World Economic Forum even went so far as to say that 50% of employees will need to be retrained or reskilled by 2025. And this was a report just from last year. So this is not very far off, and requires that all of us focus on improving internal development capabilities so that we can stay more competitive and succeed in today's market by investing in our most important asset, and that is our people, and ensuring that our talent needs are aligned to our business needs. When we work together, employees alongside their manager are able to identify the skills that they need and align their learning goals with the business needs, as well as employees' long-term goals. And that is really key in helping them grow and develop and our businesses thrive. Okay, so the fifth key to better performance enablement is recognizing employee achievements. Employee recognition is a crucial component to the employee experience, and recognizing your employees for the work that they put in and their accomplishments results in increased employee engagement and job satisfaction, and they're more likely to work harder and become more invested in their work when they feel appreciated for what they do. When team members complete tasks that drive the business forward or expand their abilities, it's really important to have systems in place that see and acknowledge and record those milestones. And a good performance enablement process will have an active framework for giving and receiving positive recognition and reinforcement. And, just to give you an example here, I included a couple of real feedback and recognition that some of the BetterWorks employees have left on our own recognition wall. And, we use our product internally. We call our product our instant champagne. We drink our own champagne. We use our recognition module. We have it integrated with Slack. We have a recognition Slack channel, and employees can recognize, other employees at any time. I did change the names here to protect the recognized, but it's such a great way to publicly acknowledge, departmental or cross-functional partners across the organization. We also did this really cool thing. We created these emojis that align with our company values, which you see on the bottom here: stretch, don't settle, prioritize people, be a CEO and do the right thing. And, recognizing employees for values, it is a way to bring your culture to life and, really walk the talk of what is most near and dear to you and your company. And, I love this quote from one of our customers, Helen Sedcole, who's the Chief People Officer at Z Energy in New Zealand. And she said that the recognition component of BetterWorks has enabled democratized feedback. And so people are getting really nice feedback from their peers and from people all around the organization. It goes to the individual, it goes to their line manager. So there's more collective support of our people doing great work. And, I got to say, hearing feedback, ourselves and how we're helping other organizations is really why we love what we do here at BetterWorks. All right, so we have come to the sixth and final key to performance enablement, and that is about making employees more active participants in the process. Performance enablement at its core is about giving employees the tools that they need to be active and not passive participants in their own development and success. It means creating an environment where they have a voice in the process. They can openly share their thoughts, their opinions, their ideas, their innovations. And we have seen really two ways that are most impactful to get employees more active in their performance engagement. First of all is, giving employees a say in setting their goals. When the goal setting process is collaborative, employees genuinely become more connected and engaged. And since they're closest to their work, they can think strategically about how their role can align with and really drive company goals and company results. And second is offering employees the opportunity to give upward feedback to their managers. This helps employees feel heard. It helps build trust, provides managers with really valuable insight to become better leaders, and also helps HR, really collect good, objective feedback to develop managers and future leaders across their organization. So, in summary, these 6 key things allow for a modern performance enablement system. They are committing to real change, setting and being agile enough to allow for the resetting of goals. Number 3, the ability to provide real-time feedback. 4th, supporting robust growth and development opportunities. 6th, making all employees at all levels more active participants in the process. And with that, I thank all of you for your time. I hope that this message has been meaningful. I hope it has allowed you to take some good ideas back to your own organizations to drive great performance enablement.